Hi, I'm Dan Cox, and I'm being joined by Amanda Bell, Invicta fighter. She's coming off of 2 first-round KOs. Impressive. Amanda, how you doing?
Excuse me. Hi. I'm doing good. How about you, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Listen, let me ask you. You're coming off of 2 straight first-round KOs. Extremely impressive fights. It kind of seemed like to me that you really stumbled onto something. These last 2 fights, you've really looked like a different fighter in there.
Thank you. The second fight, actually, I think was technically a TKO. This was a ref stoppage. Just for the record, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I spent 2014 having a pretty successful year. I had 3 fights, and I won all of them. You know, it really just kind of paved the way for me. My knockout win over Marina Shafir really did a number for me as well. So, you know, just big boost forward and just going after the competition that's out there. So, just got to keep on going forward.
Well, you know, and I had spoke to you a little bit about it. It seems to me like there was some kind of switch that popped, and whether it was the physical training, the mental, whatever it was, it happened and it was visible. And for me as a fan to watch, I couldn't put my finger on it. I could see it in your eyes, but there was something that happened. Could you maybe speak to that? Is there something that you could attribute to that, or maybe let us know what it was?
Honestly, I mean, a lot of it had to do with just my training and my coach, you know, and being where I'm at right now. I mean, I spent a lot of time just kind of lost. When I first, you know, had the option of going pro or staying amateur, I wanted to have a few more amateur fights before I went pro. Like, in my mind, I didn't feel ready for it. So I think that really kind of, you know, put me in a funk, and I wasn't really educated a lot about what to expect. So when I went to Invicta, I was kind of starstruck. And then when I realized, like, I was there for a fight myself, it was kind of late to get that in my head. So I was playing a lot of catch up with my psychology. And, you know, my second fight up in Canada, I just was in a bad spot in my life that that fight, I really want to get a rematch for that one, because I rolled over and gave that up. I literally rolled over and let her choke me out. And I'll be the first to admit it. I went up even to the announcer and was like crying about it. I was so ashamed of myself. You know, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Tweet. She's a good fighter. She's tough. I just didn't want to go to the second round, so I put my freaking chest to the mat and said, fuck it, you know, so, and I just would never let that down, so, I don't know, I spent a lot of time just really stuck in my head and unsure of things, and it was just that to be or not to be moment where, well, could I do this, can I go forward with this, is this really what I want to do, because it's now or never, and if you go all the way, you know, I never imagined I'd get this far, to the point, you know, of seeing a potential team championship, seeing a chance of fighting Cyborg for that belt, being the face of Invicta. You know, I always pictured it, but I really never thought I could do it. And my coach really helped me to believe it. And I feel great, you know. This fight, I'm kind of in a different mind, and you know, I'm in a different mindset right now. I feel very composed and relaxed, and just, you know, usually I'm just surging before a fight. This one, I was even talking to my coach, and I was like, Coach, I just can't seem to get that savage feeling inside right now. And I just feel, I don't know, I feel like I'm downsizing myself. And I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel the same. And he's like, well, maybe you're just getting more comfortable with the fact that you fight, you know, and it's not so shocking anymore. And I sat back and I really let myself feel that and contemplate his words. And I went into practice that night, and I felt great, and I was just smashing it out. And I had a great practice, great sparring all night long, and I just felt good. So I told my coach, I'm like, maybe that's what it was, you know, because I was stressing about it. I was like, why don't I feel like, you know, insane right now? But maybe, you know, I think he's really right that I'm just getting more comfortable with what I have going on. And even now, you know, I look toward the potentials of what could happen. You know, everyone's talking about, you know, oh, July's going to be a contender fight or whatever for Cyborg. As far as I've been told, that's not likely to happen. I don't know. This, you know, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, I guess. But, right. You know, having met her and knowing where I'm at right now, and progress I'm making and the coach I have and the team I have and, you know, just the support that I have and people wanting to see me go far and to, you know, get to that top spot, you know, Cyborg doesn't seem so scary anymore.
Well, you are, I respect Amanda, you're a fan favorite, and I can tell you on social media, you're a monster, and the reason being is because you go in to finish fights. You don't go in there to play around, you go in there to finish fight. And that's what it's all about. And you know, from the perspective as a fan, and that's what I am, I love it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And your next fight coming up, you know, is against Van Duyn. I'm sorry, no disrespect to her. I don't mean to mispronounce her name. I'm not the best at that. But what do you have in plan for? I mean, do you have certain game plans for her with this fight? Have you looked at her and seen something that maybe you needed to work on in order to deal with her, or is it just going to be one of those walk in there and knock the shit out of her fights?
I'm going to make this fight boring, dude. Yeah, just boring as hell. You're gonna hate me. No, I've done, you know, my research on her. I've still been, you know, looking up anything that I can, and I've learned to not really expect somebody to come out and do the same thing. Right. You never know. She could be working on something herself, something new for me, and, you know, yes, I do have some things new that I'm working on to try to use on her that, you know, I hope will, you know, gain me some leverage in this fight. I expect her to be, you know, ready to come out swinging just like me. You know, she's fast and she's scrappy, so I have a feeling, you know, she's going to come out looking to just throw blows, you know, just like I do. So, but if not, then, you know, I'm gonna be comfortable in the fight no matter where it goes, whether we clinch up or we go to the ground or she wants to stand with me. I'm just gonna look to dominate in every angle it's at. You know, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna revert and do the same thing I do all the time. We don't train that way. We don't think that way. You know, at my gym, we fight to show that we have something different every fight. You know, we have an arsenal ready for any situation. So wherever this fight's gonna go, I'm gonna have an answer for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, from the fans' point of view, from the layman, it looks like you've got the strength. It looks like you've got the power edge in this fight to me. And I'm wondering, are you gonna go in there with that incredible power and stand-up and pressure that I've watched these last couple fights? To me, it's a mental thing. I've just seen that switch. I know it's gotta be the mental switch. You're a different fighter in there, and it's exciting to me. And I just see the momentum really rolling for you, Amanda, and I'm curious if you feel it. Because I see it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I have to know, do you feel what I'm seeing?
I do. I mean, I think there's a large part of myself that I had to kind of be introduced to, I guess is about the best way I can put it. And I was even told, actually, oddly enough, by a massage therapist of mine. She was an energy reader, a very spiritual woman that I'm still friends with. She was doing a reading on me one day while she was massaging me, and it was interesting what she was saying. And I reflected on it for a while. And I think I even said this before, actually, in my first Skype interview that I did some time back. That she told me that I had this darker side that I needed to embrace, not so much fear it, and like it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just kind of interesting how she put it. You know, that there's this side of me that I still had yet to accept. And I didn't understand what she meant, you know, and I really think I had to be put, you know, into the ringer of things and be put into a different, you know, situation as far as life and my coaching and my gym and just my surroundings to understand what that should feel like, you know, and my coach was definitely a big influence for me on that half. But yeah, I don't know, it's very primal for me. It's very familiar in some ways. In some way, I've always thought I was always meant for this, you know. And it's just the glory in its own. It's just unreal. It's like I look back on my fights and I watch and I feel like I'm watching a dream. You know, it's just like two different sides of life completely. I love it.
It is. Is it kind of embracing that part of you that maybe you didn't think was society-wise, is you're not supposed to embrace, you're not supposed to feel that, you're not supposed to act on that, you know what I mean? Because when I watched you in the cage the last couple of times, like I said, I seen a different look in your eye, I seen a different way of approaching the fight, and that's what I loved. I mean, I started sweating watching you, right? Because I'm bobbing and weaving, you know, throw it, and it was exciting for me. And so I have to thank you for that, because you have no idea how much enjoyment I get out of it. And we had spoke a little bit. I'm sure you'll hear your coach, but you'll be hearing me too. I'll be that one guy that's like, who's that annoying voice screaming? Yes.
That guy.
Yes. Let me ask you, what do you see for the future? I mean, obviously you don't want to look past your opponent. I don't know how comfortable you feel about talking about the champion and that situation and what's going on in Invicta, but I mean, I see you getting through this fight, and when you do, I mean, you're right up there. You know, you're right up there, especially if you finish and fight the way you have done the last couple fights. You know, you're right there, especially with the fan base that you're developing. It's getting huge.
Well, I mean, I've said before, you know, I can't look past the person, like you're just saying now. I can't look past myself about the fight right now. That's gonna just jump me completely out of mindset and put me in the wrong place, you know. So I mean, you know, I'm focusing right now on the here and now and trying, you know, getting past this girl and just taking it one fight at a time. And I really don't know what's going on with Cyborg. I've heard there's going to be her 145 title defense in July, and then I've heard that she's signed with Zupa, and in order for her to get into Zupa, she needs to take a fight or two at 135 before she can make the weight. I don't know. You know, I really have no idea. That July fight could be her first 135 fight. There's so many rumors right now that the only thing I'm going by is what Shannon says and what my manager says and what my coach says. It's whatever, you know, so we'll see what happens. One way or another, you know, I'm going to be ready for it. I have to. There's no avoiding it. There's no running from it. You know, it's gonna happen one way or another. So my biggest thing, I guess, is I just hope that opportunity is still there, because if Cyborg does leave and the belt goes vacant and I take it, I'm gonna feel a little cheated and disappointed, because I would rather fight her and take it from her than just take an open belt from someone else who might not be on my level. I don't know. You know, it's just that says so much about your character, though, Amanda. It really does. To me, the biggest things in speaking with you, the biggest thing is proof to myself. You know, It has nothing to do with anybody else but me.
Well, it's just like having to hear you admit the fact about the fight with Tweet. I mean, that speaks to who you are. You know, you're not talking any kind of crap. You're admitting it. You're being honest, and that's what got you to where you're at now. And those last two fights that I spoke of, seeing a different fighter come into the cage, a different look in your eye, and to me, that's all that needs to be said, because everybody, you have the talent. It's no doubt about it. It's always comes down to that mental game. And some say 90%, I say 95%, 98% maybe. If you've got the talent, it's all mental at that point. You know what? I'm so looking forward to seeing this fight coming up, Invicta 12. You know, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give out to your sponsors and your friends and people?
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to my manager, Jason Ellis. Him and the team from Relentless Sports Management and Marketing. The whole RSM family has been really just working their asses off to help me out. And, you know, whenever I'm in trouble or I'm financially stuck, they really help me out a lot. You know, my coach, Enid Wilson, Derek Nat Bartolome, and Ronald Flosson, my coach's wife, Veronica Wilson. You know, those four are a big part of my life. They're like my extended family. You know, along with all my teammates and everybody at Animals MMA. They just, you know, I love every single day we speak with these people. You know, they're there for me 24/7. Janet and Tony Darcy, who own the gym, you know, they've been going through a lot of struggles and everything, and they've just been working to keep the gym open and keep us all training. So, you know, a lot of love and shout out goes to them, of course. My mom, I always say hi to her in nearly every interview that I do. You know, I put her through hell with this career, so, but she loves it. You know, she's starting to come around a little more. I call her, Mom, I won. Okay. That's it. That's all she needs to know. So just,
Does she watch?
You know,
does she watch you fight, Amanda? Does your mom watch?
She watched me in Invicta 4, but I don't think she was able to catch this most recent one. But she catches up on it when she gets the video. She's just like, oh, I watched it. You know?
That's awesome.
She gets the first phone call after every fight. You know, whether I win or lose, she gets the first phone call. So that's just the bottom line of that. And then I wanted to say hi to Shannon Knapp, Julie Kinsey, and Angie Linlin, the 3 big dogs from Invicta FC. They keep it all rolling. You know, they keep everything going. And then all of my sponsors, Doc Howley from Zionics, guys from Alchemy Water, Bearcat Tactical, Pro Nation, Unique Kennels. And then you guys from LUB-MMA, you guys just came on board with me this past week. That's fantastic. I love it. You know, I love it. I'm working with you guys right now. And then I actually want to give a big shout out to Toby Garrett from our gym. He's one of the he's trained with us before. He kind of wants to do an amateur fight at some point in time with himself. His little girl. She trains the little kids classes, and she loves me, her little sister Bo. So he actually just picked up. He does his company. He buys old $800 cars, from auctions and stuff. Fixes them up, resells them and stuff. Well, he's starting a business. He wants to sponsor me for this fight. He's giving me